Well, they did it today, just as we anticipated. Also, a new report that was just released earlier today showing the United States economy is slowing down, and what a top Democrat recently said about student loan repayment. And lastly, the $800 million President Biden just approved today. We have a lot to talk about once again right here in this video, so let's jump into it right away. But really fast before we do, if you haven't done so yet, or if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video, as information continues to change very, very rapidly right now. But I'm doing all the research, I'm watching everything closely, and I break it all down into these short videos so that you can get all of the important updates, just like what we're going to cover right here in this video, in the shortest amount of time possible that I can deliver it in these short videos each and every day. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any updates going forward during this very busy time, and I'll continue to be here for you right by your side every single day. All right, thanks again. Let's jump right into the update. All right, quickly here, let's talk about this report that was just released earlier today showing the United States economy is slowing down. Now, there are some significant reasons for why this is actually happening, and if you happen to see that last video that I just had out a few hours ago, in that video I was also suggesting that the low income may be in luck going forward when it comes to a fourth stimulus check and or direct payments going forward, simply because what is everybody looking at right now, which is the United States economy, and some of the analysts and experts are saying, hey, the United States economy is basically on the brink of recession. It's probably coming here in the relatively short term, and we want to look at this closely. Well, as I described in that video earlier, what people are saying right now is get stimulus checks out to the low income, tell them to spend the money, and that will potentially avoid a recession going forward. Well, let me tell you what this information is that just came out today. Now, this is a report on retail sales. This is a number that comes out once per month, and it gives us the retail sales number for the previous month. Now, I do want to give you this information because we've got to watch all this closely. As I've said so many times, everything is highly correlated. One domino may fall and take down the whole train, right? So anyway, let's talk about this a little further here. So the February retail sales number was just released earlier today. It came in at 0.3%. Over January, so up 0.3%, whereas estimates were anticipating up 0.4%. So they missed the estimates by, 0.1% there. However, in January, retail sales were up 4.9%, so significantly less than just a month prior. Now, here's why this number is significant. Here's why. In the month of February, inflation continues to rage forward. Now, of course, I do know that we are in mid-March right now as I record this video, but throughout February, inflation was still raging. But here's the thing. As we've been here in March, the first half of March so far, this does not even account for the rapidly rising prices on gas and everything right now as well, which we've talked about extensively here over the last couple weeks because gas has been going through the roof. So March's number may be very interesting, but the reports that I was reading about this were essentially saying people are not spending as much money right now because we're trying to stick a little bit away, trying to save up maybe a little teeny tiny bit and maybe not spend quite as much simply because this inflation is getting away from everybody and everybody's trying to maybe stockpile a little bit of extra money here in the event of a rainy day coming, which I think we're probably looking at some rainy days coming up. So anyway, that is what the reports are saying, is people are kind of shying away from spending money right now because of all this inflation, and nobody knows where it's going to end, right? Well, according to the reports that we're looking at, this thing is probably going to hit around 10%, possibly even higher. But we won't know that here for the next couple months until we get more data points on inflation going forward. So anyway, a very interesting kind of barometer on us, the consumer, and how we're doing every single month based on what are we spending our money on and, kind of like what's going on. One more quick side note here. I apologize. I know I'm getting a little bit carried away with this one. I didn't mean to spend this much time on this, but one more quick side note here. In this same report, they said that 1 year ago, so in February of 2021 versus February of 2022, gas prices are up 36% more. Or sorry, let me say that again. That's actually not true. Let me say that again. I apologize. Sales at gas stations are up 36% over last year. So that doesn't necessarily mean gas sales. It just simply means sales at gas stations are up 36%. Meanwhile, dining, like restaurants, up 33%. So anyway, just some very interesting statistics. That's huge, by the way, year over year. So anyway, All right, let's quick move on here to the next update here. So let's quickly talk about what this top Democrat said recently about student loan repayment. So this Democrat is Patty Murray out of Washington. So she recently was out and made a statement talking about these student loan repayments and said these should be extended, as in the student loan forbearance period, as in right now student loans do not need to be paid on right now until early May is when those payments are going to resume. However, Patty Murray said, we've got to extend this out all the way until 2023 so that all of these borrowers can actually kind of get their mind wrapped around this thing going forward and actually kind of get prepared. Because here's the thing. She also stated that these federal student loan repayments are ruining lives going forward. So yeah, I mean, seriously, it probably is ruining a lot of lives, but you know what else is ruining lives right now? The inflation and the lack of additional stimulus checks or lack of additional financial assistance for millions of people who need it. So I would say that that is probably equally ruining lives right now. The lack of having enough money, having enough food on the table, paying your rent, maybe filling up your car with gas, all kinds of things like that. I would say that that's probably ruining lives equally as fast right now. So anyway, just an interesting statement. If we do get an extension on the student loan repayment, of course, I'll bring you those updates as soon as we get those. All right, so let's quickly move on here and talk about the $800 million that was just approved by the president earlier today. So at 9 a.m. Eastern time this morning, President Zelensky, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He is the president out of Ukraine. Anyway, he met with all the members of Congress this morning at about 9 a.m. Eastern time. Now, I did listen to the vast majority of his speech. I did not catch the last portion of it. Why? Because I was actually sitting right here recording a video for you this morning. So I was not able to catch the last little bit of it, but I did listen to as much as I could before I had to push the record button and start getting some videos out for you. So anyway, but I did hear the speech. It was pretty good stuff. Shortly after that, President Biden did come out and he did approve an additional $800 million to go over to Ukraine to help them with the ongoing situation going on over there. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that as well. All right, so let's quickly talk about what else is going on. Like I always say, there's a lot going on right now. So the Federal Reserve, as in the FOMC meeting, took place today. Now, this is a 2-day meeting that actually started yesterday, and they wrap it up today around about 2 p.m. or so is when they wrap it up. Then the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, he comes out and has a little press conference and lets everybody know what they're going to be doing based on their meeting and what they're going to do with interest rates going forward. So they did exactly what we've been anticipating here over the last couple of days. They raised interest rates by 25 basis points. So let me tell you what this actually means going forward, what it means for all of us, the consumer, as well as what's it going to mean for inflation. Now, the whole reason why they raised interest rates by 25 basis points or 0.25% is to hopefully slow down the inflation. However, if you've been watching the videos for any length of time now over the last week or so, sorry, it's not going to do much. 0.25% or 25 basis points is not going to do anything when it comes to inflation. However, he did indicate that there's likely going to be about 6 more rate hikes throughout the course of this year. That's important because if we keep going up by, say, 0.25 point each time and say there's 7 rate hikes throughout the course of the entire year, so what would that be? Well, 1.75% by the time we get through the end of the year. So that's a little bit more substantial right there. That may do something to inflation. But the rate that they're kind of moving forward with these rate hikes, it's going to be a very slow grind at the rate that they're going right now. So, but the reason I want to bring this up here because if you have any type of consumer loans, I'm just going to say that, like a personal loan, maybe an equity line of credit, maybe an auto loan, maybe an adjustable rate mortgage. What else? Did I say auto loan yet? I'm not sure if I said auto loan, but maybe that one. Any types of these loans, anything like this. Oh, credit cards. That's another big one as well. Interest rates on all of these financial products, unfortunately, will be going up as well. So if we haven't felt like we've paid enough on essentially everything right now we need to pay a little bit more in interest. So yeah, right now you could probably say, okay, 0.25 point, that's not too bad, not that big of a deal, but let's be real. Every dollar, every penny right now counts for most people. But anyway, we could look at it and think, okay, that's not that bad. But here's the deal. As we continue to work our way through the rest of 2022, with 6 more rate hikes coming, that's going to be a big deal. It's not going to be one of these things that we just think, oh, it's just an extra 52 cents a month, or, oh, it's just an extra $4 a month. No, it's going to be pretty substantial by the time we get to the end of the year if rates are actually up an extra 1.75% versus where they were yesterday, right? Before the rate hike today. So that's why I've got to watch this closely and see what happens going forward. Hopefully this does something to inflation relatively soon, but realistically, I don't think that's going to be the case. Based on what I've researched about all this, I don't think a 0.25% rate hike is going to do much for inflation right now. But again, the problem with it is if they go too aggressive too fast, if he came in today and said 100 basis points, as in 1%, the market might collapse. So they got to really thread the needle on this thing and be kind of careful about it. So anyway, this is my update for as of right now. I know a lot of weird stuff here in this video, but you know what? I want to make sure that you're staying updated with everything going on. As I've said before, everything is so highly correlated. We've got to watch it all very closely. Just like the little stack of, or little line of dominoes, right? We all did it as a kid. Let's be real. I still do it as an adult. Who doesn't love a nice line of dominoes? Pretty fun stuff. Anyway, my point is, if one domino falls, it could take down the whole thing. So you've got to watch all this stuff very closely. It's so highly correlated. Anyway, I hope this update helps you out. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video or go back and check out any of the other videos, and feel free to share those with your friends, family, social media as well. And please remember, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can. We will get through this, and we can only cross our fingers that Congress will come together at some point here and approve some type of additional relief. They're playing around with a couple ideas right now, which is a little bit encouraging, but hopefully we can get a little bit of speed under what they're trying to do here. I wasn't really sure what to call it. We'll call it speed. Let's just say that hopefully they can get some speed here when it comes to actually approving some type of relief. Anyway, I'm here for you. Please enjoy your day. Subscribe down below, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. Thanks again for watching.